The Second World War saw millions of people lost, a staggering human cost on every continent and every ocean. But among those many tragic losses, a select few stand out, shrouded in an almost supernatural mystery. They are the cases that defy explanation, the aircraft and their crews who simply vanished. Not a trace, not a single piece of wreckage, no distress call, nothing but silence, followed by a permanent void. These are not the stories of famous accidents or well-documented battles. These are the ghost squadrons, and their secrets have been buried by the sea for over 8 decades. A war's immense scale meant countless planes were lost, whether to enemy fire, mechanical failure, or simple human error. Most of the time, the fate of the plane and its crew was eventually known. A crash site was found, a body recovered, or a final transmission was recorded. But for a baffling number of aircraft, the story ends with a question mark. They took off on a clear day, headed for a routine mission, and then were never seen again. These weren't just single planes. In some cases, entire groups, entire squadrons, simply disappeared. The logistical and emotional impact on the forces was immense. Imagine the feeling of sending your comrades off, only to have them erased from existence, with no closure, no reason, and no remains to mourn. It was a terrifying, almost surreal aspect of the war. Today, we'll explore some of the most enduring and unsettling of these disappearances. Our first case takes us to a desolate and unforgiving theater of the war, the Aleutian Islands, a chain of volcanic landmasses stretching into the North Pacific. On a frigid day in late December 1942, a PBY-5A Catalina patrol bomber with a crew of 12 lifted off from Naval Air Station Adak. Its mission was a routine patrol flight, a simple search for any Japanese submarines or ships that might have strayed into the area. The weather was typical for the region, brutal, cold winds and unpredictable fog, but nothing a seasoned crew and a robust aircraft couldn't handle. The plane transmitted a routine position report at 10:45 a.m. and then silence. The radio crackled with static, but no further messages came. An extensive search was launched involving dozens of ships and aircraft. They scoured the icy waters for days, weeks, but found nothing. No oil slick, no life raft, no piece of debris that could be identified as coming from the Catalina. The plane and all 12 men on board vanished without a trace, leaving behind only the harsh, empty expanse of the Bering Sea. The Pacific theater, with its immense distances and unpredictable weather, became a graveyard for countless aircraft. Among the most prolific of the ghosts were the heavy bombers, particularly the B-24 Liberator. These planes were the workhorses of the long-range bombing campaign, but their sheer size and complex systems also made them vulnerable. On one especially grim mission, in August of 1945, 3 B-24 Liberators from the 7th Air Force took off from an airfield on the island of Tinian. Their target was a Japanese airfield in the Philippines. They were flying in formation, a common practice for mutual defense and navigation. During the flight, a sudden, powerful tropical squall hit the region. The 3 planes entered the storm and were never seen again. It's possible the formation broke up and they collided with one another, or were simply overpowered by the gale. The immense forces of the Pacific likely swallowed any debris, leaving no sign of the men or their machines. In the vastness of the ocean, a crash could occur just a few miles away from a search party and remain undetected forever. It's a sobering thought. We've all heard the stories of Flight 19. The famous case of 5 US Navy bombers that disappeared in the so-called Bermuda Triangle. But what if I told you there was a lesser-known, equally chilling precursor, a case that happened years before, and with an even more bizarre ending? In June of 1942, a US Army Air Force B-17 Flying Fortress was on a ferry flight, flying from Florida to the Caribbean. The flight was short and uneventful, until the crew radioed in their position, reporting they were approaching Puerto Rico. They were a mere 65 miles from their destination, a short hop from safety, and then the transmission went dead. The plane had simply ceased to exist, just a few minutes from landing. Unlike the other cases we've discussed, this one didn't vanish over the vast empty Pacific. It disappeared over a relatively well-trafficked route, near land, and during a period of clear weather. No storm, no enemy combat, no known mechanical issues. The official investigation concluded the plane likely suffered a catastrophic failure, but the fact that not a single piece of wreckage was ever found in such a condensed search area remains one of the most baffling mysteries of the war. The disappearances of these planes and their crews during the Second World War are more than just footnotes in a history book. They are haunting reminders of the sheer scale of the conflict and the deep, enduring unknowns that it left behind. While many have their own theories, from structural failure to miscalculated fuel consumption or even mid-air sabotage, we may never know the truth. The oceans and remote lands of the world hold their secrets tightly. For every story of a lost plane that was eventually solved, there is another that remains a complete mystery. They are the true ghost squadrons, forever flying on, somewhere between history and legend. What do you think happened to these ghost squadrons? Was it just a cruel combination of bad luck and nature? Or could there be a more profound explanation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe Aviation Archives for more chilling stories.